Hey everybody, I've just finished watching all your Flipgrid videos and I've really enjoyed getting to know the music that you've connected to your social identity that's most on your mind right now. A few things came up that were interesting. Several of you wrote about music in connection to your gender and made references to performers like Kesha and Alicia Keys. And Elizabeth H. Made reference to a performer I hadn't heard of before, Mitski, and a song called Nobody. Elizabeth's been in a band before and was thinking about strong female leads. And not only was the song really interesting, but the video was absolutely fascinating. I feel like I could do a whole study on the video. Several of you are majoring in exercise science and talked about connections to your physical development and music, and talked about punk groups like A Day to Remember and other groups like Post Malone. Several of you talked about your sexual identity and Sam Smith and Brandi Carlile, and Rainbow Kitten Surprise, which was a group I hadn't heard of before, came up. So I really enjoyed watching you guys and being able to see your faces and start to get to know you just a little bit. And I hope you enjoyed watching everybody else's. I love the dogs too, by the way. Thanks for introducing to me to all your pets. That was kind of cool. I have a dog too. Her name is Princess. She's very spoiled. I thought what I would do also in this video was talk about my own social identity that's on my mind right now, and give you an example of the music that's been in my mind in connection with that, and then talk about that music in connection to the other assignments that you're going to be doing with the pieces that you've discussed, which is writing about the musical elements and also making connections to other aspects of your identity. So as I mentioned, I just turned 50, so age is something I've been thinking about quite a bit, and the song, one of the songs that connects with that in my mind is a song called Landslide that was originally written by Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac, but I really like the cover by the Dixie Chicks. I'm going to put a link to that piece so you can listen to it, that song, in the module so you can hear it. But some of the musical things about that, first having to do with the lyrics, some of the lyrics that obviously really resonate with me are ones like handling seasons of my life and time making you bolder. I think it's a really eloquent statement on what it means to age. The thing that I like about the Dixie Chicks performance, number one, has to do with the voices. So the Dixie Chicks are three women, Natalie Mans and Marty and Emily. They both have different last names, but they're sisters. And Natalie Mans has a very nasal sound. This group is a bluegrass crossover band, and she has some twang to her voice, but it's not so nasally that I find it hard to listen to. I think it really adds a lot to the personality that she brings to the piece. And I also like the fact that Marty and Emily, who are the instrumentalists, also do a lot of harmony with her. I really like that support that they give to her voice, and I think it adds another dimension to the vocals in this piece. I also like the bluegrass instruments that are added to it. So besides having the double bass, and there's no percussion. So besides the double bass, we have the mandolin and the banjo and the dobro that Marty and Emily play. And in terms of the form of this piece has verses and refrains. And in between some of the verses, you get to hear some instrumental solos on those instruments, which I think add a lot to it as well. So the voice types, the harmony that the other two voices add to the main voice, the timbre of Natalie's voice, and the instrumentation for this, along with how the instruments are used in between the verses, are things that really I find to be effective in this piece. Now, besides connecting to my social identity, my age social identity, this song also is connected to me thinking about gender. because obviously these are three women that are in this group. And one of the things that I respect about them that's kind of connected to that female empowerment thing was this group came under a lot of fire in the early 2000s because of some statements that Natalie made on stage about George Bush when we were in the Iraq War. So she stated her opinion, and the backlash that group received was unbelievable. They lost all kinds of gigs. Their records started to be burned. They got death threats. It really had a huge impact on them. And what's really cool is that they came back with their music to respond with their music. And there's a really interesting documentary that's called Shut Up and Sing, that's about the whole experience that they had and what they went through to sort of dig themselves out of a pretty deep hole. And I have a great deal of respect for that, for them standing up for their right to free speech, and to also take the insults and the abuse that they got and sort of turn it around and create something artistically with that. So there's just an example of what you're going to be doing with your own pieces of music as we continue to work through this course. And I hope you found that helpful. And please keep the questions coming.